you struggling to find inner peace during this global pandemic? And most importantly, how do we hone in on peace when nothing in the outside world seems to be in our control? In this video, I'll share some practical tips that you can use to develop more inner peace in your day-to-day life. If you're here for the first time, my name is Kiran. I'm an author and I write about emotional resilience and wellness, and the link to my book is in the description below. Now, before I get into the how-to and the practical tips, I want to bring your attention to the fact that it's good to remind yourself that there are very few things in life that you can actually control. You can control your thoughts, your opinions, your choices, things you wish to engage in, and things you want to move away from. So in other words, the only thing that you have control over is yourself. And what I have noticed is that, when we lack inner peace, it's usually because we are trying to control or change something outside of us. And that's why my very first step in getting more inner peace is that you stop controlling things. And I know it's easier said than done because we all get fixated over wanting that perfect job or that perfect house or that perfect relationship. And it's our drive for perfection or wanting things to be a certain way that drives us to control people, places, things, times, and events. And as we all know, it doesn't quite work to get more inner peace. So then the question becomes, how do we let go of control in our life? Well, the very first step is acceptance. Acceptance of things, how they are and how they are not. Acceptance of people, how they are and how they are not. Like when my peace of mind is at stake, I always ask myself, are you trying to control something or someone outside of you? And 99% of the times, that answer unfortunately is yes. Like most recently, I got a hearing device that I was very impressed with at home, and I wanted to share it with my family. So I shared all the research and I just went on and on how great this machine was. And no matter how much I shared, all I got was crickets. Like, I couldn't believe that my own family was not interested in this amazing machine, which I thought was amazing, by the way. And initially it did hurt me because I thought, here I am trying to help from my point of view and trying to make a difference, but no one's listening. And then I reminded myself that I needed to respect their choices, their opinions about their health. And I remember coming across this quote by Maya Angelou, who said, "I must respect the opinions of others even if I disagree with them." And in the context of my sharing, I reminded myself that it is not my responsibility to change someone. Yes, I can share the information, but the onus of taking action lies on the individual. And so instead of getting all hyped up or hurt that my family wasn't listening, the approach I took was that I chose to share information with them, and I said, hey, this information sounds great, sounds interesting. If you would like to know more, let me know. I'm more than happy to share. That's all. And what I noticed was that just by changing my perception gave me tremendous peace of mind over something that was driving me nuts, honestly. So as you reflect back to your life, look for situations that always trigger you. As you reflect on those situations, ask yourself, is there something or someone you're trying to control or change? And if so, what one step can you take today to let go of control so you have more inner peace? The next tip that I want to offer is that you consciously choose peace. What do I mean by that? Say there are two ice cream flavors, orange and chocolate, and I asked you to pick one. And let's say after much contemplation, you picked orange. And when I asked you, hey, why did you pick orange? Maybe your reasoning looks like, oh, it just looked good. Or I like orange flavor. Or I hadn't had orange bar in a while and I thought, let's try this. Or perhaps you have a different reasoning. The bottom line, and what I really want you to bring your attention, is to the fact that you consciously, at least at some level, made a choice to not go for chocolate and instead go for orange. Now, what if I were to replace these ice cream flavors with emotions? like anger or frustration or peace, what would you choose now? Another way to think of this concept is that if peace was your final destination, what thoughts would you choose and not choose? What conversations would you have or not have? Because a lot of times when we are emotionally triggered, we go into our unconscious patterns and we end up saying things, we end up thinking things that actually take us further away from peace. Like most recently, I had an argument with one of my friends, and that argument made me very angry. And as with all the arguments, we want to prove the other person wrong, we want to blame them, and that was also, unfortunately, my state of mind. But as I was reflecting on what had happened and on the situation, I literally paused and I asked myself that if you go on this route of blaming your friend, you know that you're going to feel miserable for the next few days. Is that something you want? Can you even afford that, given I had lots of work to do? And is this decision going to bring you peace? And when I saw that my peace of mind was going to be at stake, I consciously made an effort to disengage from the conversation. Similarly, when you find yourself in charged situations, take a moment, pause, and ask yourself, am I choosing peace? Because just like choosing orange ice cream, you can make a conscious choice to choose peace. What is your favorite way to find balance during emotional chaos? I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Another great tip to hone peace of mind is that you practice neutrality. What do I mean by that? Neutrality means when your emotions are neither positive or negative. They are neutral. And I know, again, it's one of those things that's easier said than done, because when you are emotionally charged, say you watch television, or you had a spat with your spouse or your friend, and your emotions are now running high, how do you bring yourself back into neutrality? So there are a few tools that I use to let go of my negative emotions, and I'll share some of them here. But as with all things, play around with them and see which one works best for you. When you find yourself emotionally charged, one of the best things to do is to walk away from that situation. Maybe you turn off the television, or you go to a different room in the house, or you go to a coffee shop. Whatever that is, what you will notice is that walking away from the situation will help you regroup and refocus your thoughts. Another suggestion is that you engage yourself in activities that relax your mind. Now this could be walking or exercising or cooking, painting, writing. I mean, there are tons of activities that you can explore, and even if you do them for 15 to 20 minutes, that's more than enough, because the intention here is to relax your nervous system. Another tool that I often lean on is practicing being a compassionate witness. What that means is looking at myself and the situation through the eyes of compassion and as a witness. And in my own experience, what I have noticed is that it's one of the easiest ways to detach from emotions and come back into neutrality. Now, journaling is another highly effective tool to discharge negative emotions. Like when I get triggered, I often go back to my journal and I answer following questions. Like, what just happened? Like, what was the situation that triggered me? How did it make me feel? How did I respond? Do I want to respond differently the next time around? And then most importantly, I ask myself, am I choosing peace? And just by answering these simple questions, what I have noticed is that it gives me a lot of clarity around the situation, and then I can make course corrections and know what actions to take and what actions to not take. Another tool that can help you come back into neutrality is meditation. So recently I published a video on how to relax the autonomic nervous system with simple breathing techniques, and I'll put a link to that video in the description below. Perhaps the most important part in honing inner peace is learning to discipline the mind and your thoughts. It's not that one fine day you wake up and you have inner peace, but it's something you labor towards every single day. So in the meanwhile, please be super kind and super gentle with yourself. Now in the description below, I've put a link to some of the articles on inner peace, so feel free to give them a read. I hope these suggestions were helpful. Please only take what resonates, discard the rest. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.